Hello. So, if you were not in school on Friday, we did a second lesson about interpreting the remainder. And a quick reminder that we had homework on Thursday, so please make sure you turn that in. I'm not going to go over the first problem on the homework because I have a video with that, but I will go over the second one. It says, I have 2 2/3 hours before bedtime. Each episode of Daniel Tiger is half an hour long. How many episodes can I watch before dinner? So if you're a careful reader, you'll realize that I made a mistake, and this should not say before dinner. It should say before bedtime, all right? So I have that bedtime word repeat here. So I've got 2 2/3 hours, and I want to watch a bunch of Daniel Tiger. Each one is 1.5 hours long. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to model 2 2/3 hours. So I have 1 hour in this rectangle. I have a second hour in this rectangle. That's my whole number 2. And then I have less than another hour. So I'm going to go into this third one and zoom in and cut it into 3 parts. Like so. And color in 2 of those parts. Okay. So this is a picture of all the time that I have before bedtime. I have 2 whole hours plus 2/3 of the next hour. Each episode of Daniel Tiger is half an hour long. So I'm going to go into the first rectangle and I'm going to cut it into halves. I'm going to trace it now in blue. Here's my whole hour. Tracing it in blue, cutting it in half. Right? That means here's the left half. That's the first episode. And here's the second episode. I'll also color it a slightly different color. So at this point, after 1 hour, I've watched 2 episodes. I'm going to go to the next hour, and I'm going to cut it as well. Trace, so I can see the whole hour is in blue. Cut it right down the middle for half hours. So here's my third episode, because each episode is half an hour. Here's my fourth episode. All right, and then here's where it gets kind of sticky. Look at the whoops. All right, I'm going to look at the last one, and I'm going to do the same starting step. I'm going to trace the whole hour, and for a moment, I'm going to ignore the pink lines. I'm going to cut this blue right in half. All right, so on the left half, I'm going to highlight it this time. This orange part, all of this is my 5th episode. Oh boy. All of this is the 5th episode, the orange. Right? But then I have this extra little bit right here. And I know that it's not a whole episode. It's not a whole episode because if it was a whole episode, all of that blue would be colored in. Right? So what I have to go back and think about is the pink thirds that I originally had. So here it is again. I'm going to write down. Do you see how the middle third got split in half? Well, what if I split each third in half? So here's the first third. I'm going to split it in half. And then I'm going to split this third in half. Now I can see that there are 1, 2, 3 parts in an episode. Here it is again. 1, 2, 3 parts in an episode, but only 1 is colored in, which means this is 1/3 of an episode. It's a 1/6 of a whole hour because it's 1 out of 6 in the entire blue rectangle. But in the smaller rectangle on the right, it's 1 out of 3. So the answer to this problem is 5 1/3 episodes. It's a really tricky problem, but it's kind of neat when you see it. All right, so then with the rest of class, we did some more modeling of dividing. So in this problem, I had 1 1/8 cups of M&Ms. So I had all the kids write 1 cup down below. Okay? And then over here, this was 1/8 of a cup. Right? I'm going to take the M&Ms and I'm going to put them in bags that are 1/4 of a cup. So if it's 1/4 of a cup, then I'm going to take this entire thing. Come on. I'm not enjoying Notability's update. Here we go. All right, I'm going to take the whole cup and I'm going to trace it. And then I'm going to split it in 4. Big plus. All right, so here's my first bag, here's my second bag, here's my third bag, and here's my fourth bag. Now, if I zoom out a little bit, you can see that the leftover piece is not enough to make another bag. What I had the kids in class do was trace that entire rectangle again on the outside. So there's what a whole cup would look like. We cut the whole cup into 4. And then to name the leftover piece, we saw that there are 2 pieces here, or 2 parts, 1, 2, but we only have one of them. So that means that this one piece, I'm going to trace it, this part right here, kind of in this purpley color, it's 1/8 of a cup, but it's half of a bag. It's half of the part we would need to make a bag. So I have 4 whole bags in the rectangle on the left, and I have half a bag in that small piece. So we wrote a divide by problem as well. We said 1 1/8 split into, come on, there we go, split into 1/4 cup bags gave us 4.5 bags. Okay, so that was to continue on with what we did the day before. Then we tried a couple of problems where it wasn't about M&Ms or brownies or any type of food item. In this problem, it says how many halves are there in 3/4 of a circle. So in this picture, I already have 3/4 of a circle. I'm going to split the whole circle into halves. I want to know how many half circles are hiding inside. So I'm going to zoom in, grab a different color here, and I'm going to trace up the middle, and then over to the right. This is half a circle. Do you see how the whole thing is colored in? So that's a hole number 1. But if I trace the other half, the left half of the circle, the whole thing isn't colored in. Half of that half is colored in. So I'm going to write half here because half of that part is colored in. So how many halves were colored in? Well, the right half was colored in, so I'm going to write a 1. But only half of the left half was colored in, so I'm going to write a half. There are 1.5 halves in 3/4 of a circle. This problem, I think, is really trippy because of all the times you end up saying half, right? But it's really interesting and really neat. One more problem. How many groups of 3/4 are there in 3.5 circles? So notice again, I'm starting with 3.5. I'm going to split this into equal groups of 3/4. Right? So I'm not finding 3/4 of this picture. I'm going into my first circle and I'm cutting it into 4. And I'm going to color 3 of the 4 the same color. 1, 2, 3. This is the first time I have 3/4. Now, if I color this leftover piece, that's only 1/4. I need 3/4. So I'm going to go to the next circle. I'm going to cut it into 4, and I'm not going to color 3 of them. I'm going to color 2 more. I've colored 3 parts twice, and each of those parts is a 1/4. So I have 3/4 that are yellow. I have 3/4 that are this pinky purple. Then I'm going to color the leftover parts here. Here's 2 more. But I needed to have 3 the same color. So I'm going to make a big plus. Right, and I need 1 more. Now I have 3 blue. Hey, this is pretty fantastic. I have just enough here. Grab green. 1, 2, 3. Again, I'm making equal groups. That's what division is. I'm splitting it into equal sized groups. So far, I've found 3/4 3 times. A yellow time, a purpley time. Oh, I found it 4 times. A yellow time, a purpley time, a blue time, a green time, and then something's wrong here. Zoom in on the last one, and I can see there's a half. But if I make the whole circle be fourths, I'm supposed to have 3 that are the same color. I'm supposed to have 3 that are colored in, but I don't have 3. I only have 2 out of the 3, which means this part up here is half a circle, but it's 2/3 of the groups that I'm trying to make. Right? Because I need to have 3 parts in each group, but I only have 2. I have 2 out of the 3 I need, so it's 2/3. So how many times was I able to make 3/4? I have the yellow time, 1, right? The purple time, 2. The blue time, 3. The green time, 4. And 2/3 of the next time. My answer is 4 and 2/3. I was able to make 3/4, 4 and 2/3 times out of 3.5 circles.